I hope you guys are ready for today's video because we have a lot to get through. Not just sneaker release dates, but there's just a lot going on in the sneaker world right now. So if you're new here and you like to stay up to date with sneaker release dates and just generally speaking everything that goes on in the sneaker community, well, hit the subscribe and chuck me a follow over on Instagram, and that way I can always keep you in the loop. We do this every single Sunday, and like always, we start with a release recap. So let's jump straight into that. Let's talk about what just happened in terms of drops. Take a look at this here. This is the Yeezy Knit Runner. This is the Fade Indigo colorway. So apparently these shock dropped on the Confirmed app a couple days ago here in the EU and the UK, and then for you guys out in the US, I assume you had a proper release, or maybe you guys had a shock drop too. Another pair of Yeezys that also dropped was of course the Yeezy 350 Compact Bone. I think this is the best colorway of the compact model. What's the interest like? Do you want to see them on the channel? Let me know. If you do, I'll pick up a pair. Anyway, let me know if you managed to get a pair. And then one for you guys out in the US, which is severely delayed, of course, is the Kanye Purple Jordan 4. These things dropped back in August for us here in the EU and the UK. A great pair of 4s for Halloween. But with that being said, let's jump into this news because we got a lot to get through, guys. First one, let's talk about the upcoming Jordan 1 Gorge Green, which we just got fresh, new, crispy official images of. Take a look at this pair. So the actual official release date is going to be November the 26th. There's literally 3 Jordan 1 highs that are left to drop here in 2022. So let me know what you guys think of these things. I actually do like them. They share a lot of similarities to the Bordeaux colorway. I was kind of a fan of the Bordeaux. I liked them. This is definitely not bad as well. I think people will prefer the green color. Probably going to end up sitting on shelves, or at the most probably selling out, but you could still get them for retail if you know what I mean. That's just the way things are with Jordan 1. Speaking of a pair that I know this is going to sound crazy, but some people are saying you may actually be able to get these things for retail. Jordan 1 Chicago Lost and Found, or Reimagined. I'm not lying here. I have actually seen some people on social media say, are these gonna go for retail? And I was like, no way. But then I thought about it. Think about the hype of the Jordan 1 right now. It is definitely pretty low. We've seen numerous amounts of really decent colorways of the Jordan 1 that would have resold a couple years ago actually sitting on shelves. Now this obviously being one of the most iconic, this one being the most in-demand colorway I think there is on the Jordan 1. I understand the demand is going to be insanely high, but at the same time, they did say that there was going to be 500,000 pairs of these that are going to release. Could we see these things going for close-ish to retail? So I'll throw the question to you guys. Do you think these are going to resell for a lot of money, or do you think that a mixture of the high stock on this pair and a mixture of the current demand for Jordan 1s, are they going to end up reselling for like something relatively close to retail? I'm not entirely sure, but it is an interesting thought. Anyway, we do have official images which I do want to show you guys, and also I will remind you the release date of these is on November the 19th. All right, we got a couple sneaker releases right around the corner, so let me run through them. The first one being literally tomorrow apparently, and that is this one right here, the Yeezy 500 High Taupe Black. These are going to be dropping on October the 17th. Here in the UK and the EU, they haven't loaded up on the Confirmed app. I have heard that they did load up in the US, maybe Canada as well. Probably going to drop a review on Monday, so yeah, if you want to see that, go ahead and check it out. It's a nice colorway for the fall. It's still a little bit like, where the hell is the release date on this? Well, this is the only information I could find. We're over here on Instagram at Learn2Cop, and they are saying that the Huff Nike Dunk SB Low is going to be dropping on October the 22nd. I think there's 3 different colorways. There's this one, New York, and then there's San Francisco, and then there's one other one which I forget the name of. The San Francisco pair probably being my absolute favorite. Now obviously I'm going to keep you guys in the loop, so as soon as they load up or any raffles go up or anything like that, I'll update you either here on the channel or of course over on Instagram. All right, Jordan 2s, we're getting a bunch of them, so I'm just gonna run through all of the different ones that we're getting right around the corner, and I'll give you the release date. So first one up is this one right here, the previously thought to be Travis Scott Jordan 2. No, it's actually the 218 Air Jordan 2 Low. These are going to be dropping on October the 14th. Wider release, obviously Nike sneakers and everything like that. That's going to be on October the 21st, my birthday, and I get this pair of Jordans. I'm joking, it's not the worst colorway by any means. Next one up, we've got the first looks at an upcoming Air Jordan 2 Craft, which I actually really like the look of. Now, these are going to be dropping spring 2023, so these are very early images. I did just want to throw them up here. So it looks like the plan for Jordan Brand is still going to be, yo, let's get on these Jordan 2 colorways. Another pair of Jordan 2s that we're going to be getting is actually loaded up on the Nike Sneakers app, and that is the Shelf Life Air Jordan 2 Low. And these are going to be dropping as well on October the 21st. This is definitely my favorite out of the bunch, not just because it's from a South African retailer, but because of the materials. They look super clean and just the color blocking in general. Finally, another pair of Jordan 2s that's going to be dropping. This one is the Titan 22 Air Jordan 2 Low. These are also October, what is going on? October 21st? Yeah, it's like a triple pack of Jordan 2 Lows, which I do think is pretty clean. Either way, those are the Jordan 2s that we've got. Let's keep it moving. All right, next up, we've got the first looks at the Air Jordan 6 Cool Gray. Take a look at this right here. This is very, very clean. Now, these are apparently going to be dropping February the 4th next year, so 2023. It's got the usual Jordan 6 color blocking all over white tumbled leather with the, I guess, kind of more suede leather. Look at that bottom, man. That looks super, super clean. I'm a fan of these. I think as far as like a Jordan 6 goes, these are probably one of the cleaner pairs. All right, a pair of Jordan 1s that is upcoming, which I'm actually really, really liking. It's a colorway that I traditionally wouldn't be massively a fan of, but the way that they've done this is super sick. Take a look at this right here. This is the Nigel Sylvester Air Jordan 1 High OG Black. So Nigel Sylvester, if you didn't know, is a BMX athlete that was signed to Jordan Brand or just Nike in general, and we actually saw the first image of him wearing them, which is here on foot. And I think they look sick. Like, I wouldn't typically, I think, prefer just a plain old blacked out pair of Jordan 1s, but the way that they did this with like the vintage style, like it's all kind of dusty and I guess pre-vintage. As far as like a release date, we really do not know anything, because I think as of right now, all we've seen is these images right here, and then obviously Nigel Sylvester himself wearing it. We got some detailed up close images of the upcoming Jordan 5 UNC. Again, we've spoke about this quite a lot before. The release date on these is going to be March the 4th. I like the inner sock liner. That looks insane. I really like the way that that looks. We've got some text on the reverse of the tongue, which looks pretty cool. It says heart and soul, which is just a nice little detail. I'm interested to find out about the story behind this pair of sneakers. We'll have to wait and see. Another kind of update on Jordan 5s in general. We've got an actual release date for the upcoming DJ Khaled Air Jordan 5. So a couple different colorways that we're going to be getting is the Crimson Bliss, this nice little peach one over here. We're also going to be getting this one here, the Sail with the purple midsole, which is actually growing on me a lot, this colorway. And then there's a bunch of like friends and family colorways. Either way, they're going to be dropping on November the 28th. We got some first looks at an upcoming pair of Yeezy foam runners. Take a look at this here. A bit less exciting than some of the other MX versions that we've been seeing in the upcoming news recently, but this one is called the Flax foam runner, which is, I guess, going to be the same color as we saw on the slides. But saying that, this image here doesn't really look like the same. Like, I think the Flax slides look a lot darker than this. Maybe this is just the image that we're taking a look at now. Either way, the Flax foam runner is going to be dropping very soon. Again, at some point here in 2022. We don't have an exact release date. If I had to guess, probably November time, because again, we've pretty much seen all of the releases that are going to be happening in October. We've got some on-foot looks at the upcoming off-white graffiti Air Force One mid, and I'm just really interested to find out, like, does this change your opinion on these? Because I know a lot of people are kind of on the edge in terms of like, man, do I like them? Do I not like them? This is probably going to be my favorite colorway, this one or the pine green, which we're still waiting on a release for. I'm not entirely sure. If I had to guess, this colorway and the pine green one are going to drop at the same time, probably in November, but this article doesn't have a specific release date. It just says at some point here in 2022. I'm definitely going to try pick them up when they do release, hopefully pretty soon. All right, we got to talk about this one, and it's so like typical Mischief, the brand that keeps on putting out insane sneakers. Well, you want to know what their next little project is? It is this freaking moon boots, freaking orthopedic, I broke my foot, this is what I need. What do you call them actually? Whatever they call it, they've actually made a sneaker version of the moon boot. When you're wearing them, you're literally out here looking like you've broken both of your feet at the same time. Let's say you do want to buy a pair of these orthopedic sneakers for $450 when they drop on October the 19th, and you go out here strutting around in your orthopedic shoes. Well, I don't think they'll actually say much because they will just assume that you broke your foot. But if you tell them, nah, I'm good, I didn't break my foot, they're gonna be like, what the hell is this? What are you doing? I actually thought it'd be super funny to do a review on these things. But yeah, Mischief doesn't send me anything. So we got the first looks at the upcoming Nike Dunk High Chinese New Year, looking super clean. Actually, I really like the first looks of this. It is coming in 2023 apparently, which it says in abbreviations here, but then also it says down here 2022. But yeah, this is a very clean pair of Nike Dunk High. Got some small details for the Chinese New Year, obviously on the tongue, as well as this little patch, which I don't know if it's embroidered or just kind of embossed into the back of the sneaker. That also looks super clean. Iced out outsole. Overall, I'm a fan of these things. All right, so as we know, StockX has been in the news a lot, and it's pretty bad news, just generally speaking. They have been hit with a lot of bad publicity this year here in 2022. Well, their main competitor looks to be expanding, and of course, I'm talking about GOAT, because they actually acquired the streetwear resale site Grailed. Now, Grailed, I believe, is quite a successful platform because I have heard a lot of people talk about it. It's something that I don't have much experience at all with, and even GOAT to some extent, and competition is always good for the consumer. If we could have a little bit more competition in this whole like sneaker resale platforms or just streetwear resale platforms, I think it's always going to be a good thing. But speaking of sneaker reselling, well, listen, our buddies over at Nike are cracking the whip. They are stomping on necks out here because Nike announced new penalties for resellers. So essentially, Nike now reserves the right to charge restocking fees, impose purchase quantity limits, and flat out refuse returns and deny access to any of its stores. So we're gonna have to wait and see to see if like any of these policies actually really stop sneaker reselling in the first place. I think it will be just a matter of time if Nike's policies will actually be followed through, if they'll actually carry out these new restrictions that they're going to be putting out. But they are going to restrict sales, they're gonna cancel orders, and suspend or close accounts of suspected resellers. Let me know what you think of this. Is this really going to make a big difference for Nike and I guess sneaker reselling? Balenciaga, we've got to talk about this next one because I always love to see some of the stuff that Balenciaga comes up with because oftentimes it ends up being absolutely insane. And trust me, this next one is just as insane as some of the last things that they've cooked up. Balenciaga has collaborated with Lay's, not to make actual food or anything edible, but they just took the Lay's packaging, created a bag, and are going to be charging people $1,800 for this freaking Lay's bag. I honestly don't know how they come up with some of the stuff they come up with. It's so wild that it's like, I could never look at like a Lay's packet of chips and be like, that would be great as a little clutch bag. I think that would be perfect. You can see at the top here, it's got a zipper enclosure, so that's how you're gonna kind of open and close the bag. And I'm sure, just like the trash bag and everything else that Balenciaga has done, these are probably going to actually sell. The next story is a big one. We need to get into it. It is a big story, and of course, it involves Kanye West. So we've been talking about Kanye West's journey, all of the things that he's been doing in the past couple weeks, or maybe even months. It all seems to have come to a head. So we first were kind of talking about the whole Adidas thing where he took to Instagram and started going after Adidas and basically saying, listen, I'm ready to end the contract. I won out. Then we started following the whole Gap thing where he actually ended up terminating the entire Yeezy Gap collaboration. Now it's really come to kind of a sour ending, and it just seems like, you know, what is going on? It seems to have kind of devolved into something a lot more negative than I initially anticipated. And I really don't want to get into the whole political side of this because I just want to keep it strictly about the main things that we do on this channel. Talk about sneakers, fashion, and just generally stuff in the sneaker world. We're not going to get too crazy deep into this. As of right now, the main thing with Kanye West is he has said some very controversial things which has got people very pissed off at him. First of all, he got sent this letter from JP Morgan Chase, which is his bank, and they essentially said that they have decided to end the banking relationship between Yeezy LLC, obviously Kanye and his company Yeezy, and any other brands under that is using the whole JP Morgan Chase bank account. Not only that, but more specifically in the sneaker community, I've been seeing a lot more people kind of talk about Kanye in a sense where, like, after some of the stuff that he has said, they're not happy to support Kanye anymore. They don't want to buy his shoes, they don't want to buy his clothing, which obviously, if some of the stuff that he said offended you, I think is completely justified, but it's just really sad to see. Also, something which I thought was pretty noteworthy, which I'm not entirely sure how much kind of ties into specifically what he said or whether it's to do with his whole Yeezy Gap collaboration ending, but right now, every single retailer that used to stock Yeezy Gap and Balenciaga clothing has now kind of removed it from their website, including Balenciaga itself, Mr. Porter, My Teresa, there was a couple others, Farfetch as well. The only place you can get it currently is Yeezy Gap. Now again, I'm not entirely sure whether this is just because the whole Yeezy Gap and Balenciaga collaboration is kind of winding down because Kanye terminated that collaboration and it's just kind of coming to an end, or because these companies like the bank account JP Morgan Chase kind of removing their affiliation with Kanye and Yeezy. On the Yeezy Gap website, you can actually purchase these products 20% off. Like if you sign up for the Yeezy Gap website newsletter, you can get 20% off all the products. Seems a bit crazy because I've never seen Yeezy clothing or Yeezy shoes go on sale. So it's pretty interesting to see that in its infancy of this collaboration, they're already trying to get rid of the stock and kind of move on. It seems like Gap is just trying to, again, remove themselves from Kanye and Yeezy and just keep it moving in a different direction. Now, Adidas, on the other hand, is obviously still releasing Yeezy products. They did say that the whole collaboration is under review. It just seems a little bit sour at the moment. So yeah, I kind of wanted to know your guys' opinion on this whole thing. What are your thoughts? Leave it down in the comment section. It would be really interesting to see your guys' opinion on the entire Yeezy Kanye West saga. Either way, that is going to wrap it up. I want to thank you so much for coming through, hanging out for yet again another one. Thank you for liking, commenting, and of course subscribing. I'll catch you guys in the next one. But until then,